What's going on, guys? So in front of you, you were looking at a very cool tool that I keep in my arsenal of DeWalt tools that operate off of their 20-volt lithium-ion battery pack. So this is a DeWalt air compressor slash tire inflator. Really cool, has a flashlight on it, has a bunch of cool features built into it, including some that I think you're going to appreciate. So hang tight, I'll be right back. All right, so first and foremost, this tool did not come with a battery. So I have, again, probably dozens of these 20-volt battery packs, varying in amperage from 4 amps all the way up to 6 or 7 amps, and they work really well. They last a long time, and that's probably one of the reasons why I keep sticking with DeWalt tools ultimately, is because I love their battery packs, at least on their 20-volt line. I've had a lot of issues with their 12-volt battery packs, at least the older ones, that tend to just stop working after about 5 or 6 months, and they don't take a charge anymore. But this specific air compressor, model number DCC020i, is a really cool product because it gives you a lot of the functionality that some cheaper air compressors have. However, it gives it to you in a way that tends to be a little bit more reliable. Now, I've been using this for a while with some of our cars as well as some of the bikes that we have to inflate the tires. It does a really great job. What I love about it is it has the ability to be plugged in, which is really nice, so you don't have to operate off of the battery if you don't want to. It keeps the cord stored in this really nice end cap with a little latch here to open it. And then on the other side, it has most of the tools that you would use. So if you have a mountain bike and you have either Schrader or Presta style valves, this is your actual Presta adapter. So this screws onto the end of a Presta stem, and you can inflate a mountain bike with Presta valves versus the Schrader, which is what it already comes equipped with right here. So that's really nice. So you can essentially use this with pretty much any type of bike tire. It gives you an inflator nozzle here if you're going to inflate something like a volleyball, and it also gives you something to inflate like basketballs and soccer balls and things like that. What I don't like about it is it doesn't give me any type of an adapter to use on my dually truck for the back dually tires. Let me show you what I'm talking about. All right, so on dually tires, the back outer dually wheel, the valve actually goes into the wheel assembly. So you have to unscrew this from the inside, back it off this way, and then you need this type of adapter to hook around it to inflate the tire. So unfortunately, there's no way to use this to inflate the back tire unless I got some type of strange adapter to make it work with a traditional quick connect plug that you get with this style of inflator. So that's the challenge. Now I can do my front tire, and what I'm going to be really interested to see is if this DeWalt has the power necessary to fill my front tire up, because right now I'm at 80 psi. So the first thing I need to do is unscrew my TPMS monitoring system. This is my tire minder system. Has the collar, which I'm going to make sure it's set back there away so it doesn't interfere with me connecting the DeWalt to it. Next, I'm going to screw the end onto it. There, it's in place. Now, I'm going to hold the power button down on the DeWalt. It'll tell me where my tire pressure is, and I want to see if I can increase my tire pressure from 80 psi all the way up to 95 psi. Okay, so all in all, that took about 5 minutes, which isn't too bad. It increased it 15 psi in 5 minutes, and that's actually better than I've seen a lot of these do. A lot of these smaller style air compressors really won't even get to this without shutting off or overheating. And for this thing just to run and get to it after about 5 minutes really isn't that bad. To give you a comparison, it takes my Viair about the same amount of time to inflate the tire to the same amount. So I'm pretty impressed. That's pretty nice to see, actually. Now I'm on to the driver's side. Same thing, going to raise it up to 95 psi. Same battery charge. I like the little display here that kind of shows you where it's at in terms of completion. There we go. Stopped at 95.5. Pretty cool. And it does get a little warm, at least the hose does. You know, most air compressors do get pretty warm after you run them for a while, and you know, the overall body of it's not warm at all. The hose itself is kind of hot actually, but it never stopped at any point. It just kept filling it up, and it did a really good job. And if you're wanting to know the reason why I'm filling the front tires up to 95 psi, it's because I'm seeing a little bit of uneven wear in terms of the outer edge is wearing down a little bit more than the inner. And that generally means that the tire is underinflated slightly because the inner is not sticking out as much as it should to make it wear evenly all the way across. This is wearing down just a little bit more, not significantly, but it's definitely more wear on this outer edge than the inner side. So that's the reason why I'm adding a little bit more air to them, to see if I can get the center of the tire to come out a little bit and cause the whole thing to wear evenly all the way across. And I'm here at the back tires, and I'm not seeing any uneven wear at all. Everything is wearing perfectly all the way across the back tires. I keep the back tires inflated to 80 psi all the way across, so each tire has 80 psi in it, and they seem to wear really well. Now, we did have a bit of a cold spell for a while, and it caused the tire pressure in all of the tires to come down about 3 or 4 psi, so I went ahead and filled them all up using my air pump, simply because I can't get to the inner stem using the DeWalt, which I wish I could, because I love just being able to set it for what I want, walking away from it and having it fill up to the right pressure and stopping. But the good thing about it is the front tires took about 5 minutes each with the DeWalt, and while they were filling up, I was able to hook up my air pump to the back and inflate the back tires in the same amount of time to the appropriate PSI. So overall, guys, I'm pretty happy with this thing, and this was not provided to me by DeWalt. This was actually a Christmas gift that my wife got me over Christmas, and I've used it quite a bit since then, mainly for our other vehicles and not the truck. I actually haven't used it at all except for today on the truck, and the truck tire, of course, takes significantly more pressure to fill up, and it's going to cause us to run for a much longer period of time, so it's actually a pretty good test to fill up a heavy-duty truck tire with this DeWalt portable air compressor. What's really nice about this is, again, your ability to set it for the air pressure you want and just forget it. Just hit play, it'll start filling up, and it'll stop when it gets to the appropriate pressure. I also love the fact that if you have like an inflatable mattress or some type of pool inflatable, you can set this for the inflatable mode, and it turns this side of it on, which gives you the ability to inflate, you know, other things as well, which is really nice, especially if it has that larger inflation opening. So this is really cool. When I started, the battery was 2/3 full, and it's showing that it's still 2/3 full, which is really nice. So it's not draining the battery significantly, and the specific battery that I have in here is one of my 5 amp hour DeWalt batteries, so it's not even my larger one. And again, it just works really well. This is a really cool product, and whether you have a travel trailer, a fifth wheel, a camper, or a truck, it can really come in handy if you need something in a pinch, especially considering it takes the 20-volt battery packs that are very common with DeWalt tools. And if you have a bunch of them, this just comes in extra handy. I think it was about $125. I don't think it was more than that, but I will put a link in the description of this video if this is something you might be interested in. Again, this is not a sponsored video. They didn't provide this for me. This is something my wife got for me for Christmas, and it works out really well. Anyways, guys, I sure hope you enjoyed this video. If you haven't had a chance, please take a moment, subscribe to my channel, give me a thumbs up. We'll talk to you again very soon.